There's a little girl. She drowned in a YMCA swimming pool. Brain expanded, no heartbeat, no brain waves. They took her to the hospital, but they just were keeping her body basically alive until they figured out what to do. She was dead. And she said later, because 3 days later, she came back. They revived her, and she said, I was conscious the whole time. And they said, wait a minute, how do we know? She said, one night when my parents visited me, I followed them home. And I came to the home and I watched my mom make chicken and rice for dinner. And she explained where her father was sitting. She explained how her brother went into his room and had a G.I. Joe Jeep and a G.I. Joe doll that he was playing with and what they were wearing and so on. Things she could not have known unless her spirit really did follow them home. So we see cases where people see or hear things would have been impossible for them to see or hear if their spirit had not continued to live on after their clinical death. One of the most profound studies I talk about in my book, they studied 21 cases of blind people. So these are people, a lot of them blind since birth. And yet, during this near-death experience, when their soul separated from their body, they could see for the first time, or they had vision-like perceptions. Vicky Umapeg, 26 years old, killed in a car accident, blind virtually since birth. But she says, I was conscious the whole time. She's watching the paramedics trying to revive her body. She sees the paramedics. She sees her body. She sees birds. She sees trees for the first time. She's describing things she could not have known. And then they finally revive her. Her spirit returns to her body, and she's blind again. Researchers, this is medically impossible.
It must have sucked, though.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like,
it's
come on.
Yeah, right. Could I just continue?
Yeah, wow.
But so yeah, Glenn, I think you're right. It's these corroborate. I'm looking for corroboration, And when I see things that would have been impossible for people to see or hear, unless they didn't have an authentic out-of-body experience, that tells me this is real.
Why does it matter? I mean, I have a friend, Penn Jillette, atheist, and I've always said, just play the odds, man. Yeah, at least go agnostic. Because you never know. Yeah. Why does it matter?
It matters for a lot of reasons. I think, first of all, it matters because if indeed we are just a physical brain, most scientists will say we don't really have free will. Well, wait a minute. If we don't have free will, how do you punish someone for doing something wrong? How do you give an award to someone for doing something great if they don't have free will to accomplish those things in the first place? I mean, it's ridiculous. How do you explain turnarounds in people? You can't. I mean, that's why I think so many people have what I call an anti-supernatural presupposition. In other words, the supernatural is impossible. Miracles are impossible. Now, show me your evidence. Well, you just ruled out the evidence by your presupposition.
Right.
And I'm saying, no, get rid of that and just say, where does the evidence most persuasively point? And I think clearly now, it matters because if God is real, then we could know him. We could experience him. He might even guide us. He might even perform a miracle in our lives. And I document in my book cases of miracles that are in peer-reviewed medical journals.
What is the definition of a miracle to you?
A miracle is an event brought about by the power of God that is a temporary exception to the ordinary course of nature for the purpose of showing that God has acted in history. So a lot of people will say, like Hume, the famous atheist from Scotland, he would say miracles are impossible because they violate the laws of nature. You can't violate the laws of nature. That's a misunderstanding. If I take this book and I drop it, the law of gravity says it's going to hit the floor. But if I take this book and I drop it and you reach in and grab it before it hits the ground, you're not overturning the law of gravity. You're not violating the law of gravity. You're merely intervening. And that's what a miracle is. If God did create the universe, which I think we have clear evidence he did, then for him to intervene is no problem. It's child's play.